What's up, guys? It's a moment for meat and the meatless, and today I want to talk about why a raw food diet is the healthiest diet in the world, bar none. And I'm comfortable and confident saying that for a couple of reasons. And I'm gonna get right into those. Keep this short and sweet. So we eat. Why do we eat food? We eat food for energy, right? So okay, so we eat food for energy. So ideally, the food that gives us the most energy and takes the least energy from us to digest is going to be the healthiest food. Not thinking about individual nutrients and stuff like that, because a food can be very nutritionally dense, but if you can't extract the nutrients from it, or if it's very hard for you to extract the nutrients from it, then that food is not the healthiest food because it's taking too much energy from you in comparison to what it's giving you. So, number one, we want to think in terms of what gives us the most energy and takes the least energy from us. So, what food will that be? What is the most easily digested food that's turned into energy the fastest? Fruit. That's number one. Fruit is number one. So, fruit, whenever you eat it, you digest it and you turn it into energy so fast. I mean, you can eat a uh, a meal of fruit, and you can, this is why you can like be completely gassed. You can be like training, and you can be completely gassed and have no energy left, and hit a wall and eat a banana or two, and then be ready to go within like a couple of minutes, right? So fruit, right? And yes, there's you could just do table sugar, but that's obviously not going to have the same health benefits as a whole fruit. So I'm not going to go into that and why you couldn't just go eat a bunch of sugar or a sugary whatever, um, because that's a different story, right? That doesn't have the health benefits along with the fast energy. So fruit is going to be number one, and then second to fruit is going to be vegetables, right? And the most easily digested vegetables, right? The you can tell which vegetables are the most easily digested because they're the least dense. The more dense something is, the more work your body has to do to extract energy from it. So you want to think in terms of how am I going to get energy and lose the least amount of energy digesting. That's number one, right? So yes, there are some uh, nuances to that, but that's going to be your basic way of thinking when you're trying to think what is the healthiest food is what gives me the most energy, the fastest, and what takes the least amount of time to digest. What takes the not the least amount of time. What takes the least amount of effort to digest, and that's going to be fruit. Um, so that's going to be your healthiest food. Now, when you think about food and energy, you have to think about where are we getting this energy? The sun, right? This fruit and vegetables and stuff, they grow in the sun. The sun gives them energy. The sun they turn sunlight into amino acids, and then we eat these fruits and vegetables, and they give us protein. And that's from the sun. That's just sun energy turned into something that our bodies can use. So, when you think about it like this, it's really, 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 really simple. So just think in terms of that. So a raw diet is going to give us the purest form of energy, meaning the food is alive, right? The food is light. And we eat heavier foods on a raw food diet too, but we eat those in moderation. We eat the lighter foods in higher amounts because they don't slow us down. They don't make us feel sluggish. And then we eat heavier foods, but in moderation. So when you think like that, the sun is the source of energy, gives it to the plants, and then we eat the plants, right? Whereas you could also, the sun gives plants energy, right? So the plants eat the sunlight, and then the animals eat the plants, and then you eat the animals. So you're getting, if you do that, you're getting your energy third hand as opposed to second hand. So usually you want to go the closest to the source, right? Because it's going to be more pure. The farther you get away from the source, the less pure something becomes. So so that's kind of just the basics of what I wanted to say about food and why a raw food diet is indeed the healthiest diet. Yes, there are foods that you can't eat raw or shouldn't eat raw that have certain other nutrients, but that's a that's a whole different topic. I can't go too much into that because this video will be much longer than I want it to be. But here's the thing: if you are like, you can look at things like eggs, and you can say, oh, eggs have this vitamin and they have this mineral and they have, this protein and so on. But what are you not thinking about? You're not thinking about, oh, but they also have this cholesterol, they also have this fat, they're a fatty food. And how do they affect my body when I digest them? How acidic are they, and so on and so forth. So that's another thing to consider. And uh, so you have to think about these kind of things, guys. It's not as simple as, sorry about the shaking of the camera, guys, but it's not as simple as, um, this has these nutrients in it. Like, there are people that say, beef is the most nutrient dense food on the planet, and you know that's not true. First of all, I mean, if you just go look calorie for calorie, there are many foods that have more nutrients, but so that's just factually not true. But even if it was, what does it have that you don't want in your body? What does it have that's not good for your body? What does it have that is cancer causing? What does it have that is potentially could lead to heart disease? Because there's study after study that show that these things are outcomes of eating more red meat. So you have to think about that. So you can't just look only at nutrients. Nutrients are good, but you can't look only at that. Um, you have to look at the whole food and say, well, what else does it have? Sure, this has B12, but what else does it have that I don't want? I could just be getting my B12 straight up and I wouldn't have to get all these other things. You see what I'm saying? Sure, this has, a lot of protein, but what else does it have that I don't want in my body? So you have to think about those things whenever you're choosing the food that you eat. But anyway, guys, if you want me to go further in depth on this, or maybe you have another topic in mind that you want me to address, then let me know. Um, Side note, I do offer one-on-one coaching, guys, for people that are raw vegan or want to go high raw vegan and want to build muscle and or lose fat while feeling great, eating good food. You're not going to be starving. Um, and you're going to be eating good, and we're going to get you the fastest results that you've ever had. I promise. Um, so I will have the description. I'll have that in the description. You guys can call and you can book an appointment. And I have a raw vegan group. I'll have that pinned in the comments and on YouTube anyway. But that's it, guys. I'll see you on the next one. Peace.